Hello, today we're going to be making the best breakfast sandwich you've ever had. And that's going to start with the cured pork loin. So for that we're going to be making a dry rub. We're just going to start with a quarter cup of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, 1 tablespoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of mustard powder, and a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon. So now, either using one of those dumb little whisk things or a fork, we're going to mix that until homogeneous. And lightly score the fat cap of our pork loin. Then throw in the bowl with the dry rub and mix until you have every single surface covered. So we're going to be smoking this. So here I have some wood chips that I soaked in water for about an hour. And we're going to be using a barbecue for this, so I'm just simply removing one of the grill tops from the barbecue. And I put the wood chips in these little smoke containers I have. You could also just use some tin foil with holes poked in the top. So we're going to put those on, turn only on that side to medium-high heat, and close until the wood chips start smoking. Then we're going to add our pork loin, turn the barbecue on the other side back on to low, and smoke in indirect heat until the pork reaches an internal temperature of 145 degrees Fahrenheit. So now on to the next component of our sandwich. We're going to be making an onion jam. We're going to start with the yellow onion and a sweet onion. So we're going to cut those in half and then cut with the grain into thin slices lengthwise. Until all those done, we're going to add to a large saute pan with a bit of oil, cook over low heat until caramelized. Adding a bit of salt to draw out the moisture. Now onto our salad. We're going to be making potato pancakes or latkes. So that's going to start by peeling 4 russet potatoes and having a large onion. And we're going to grate those either using a food processor or a cheese grater. And here's me breaking my cheese grater, wishing I chose a different side. So once the potatoes are done, we're going to grate our onion, or half onion. Now onto the most important part of making potato pancakes. So we're going to use a large, clean kitchen towel and in batches, just squeeze out all the moisture from the potato mixture. That's going to help our potatoes get crispy. So now we're going to be mixing 3 eggs, some black pepper, some paprika, a quarter cup of flour, and a quarter cup of panko, and just mix that until a thin batter forms. Then you're going to be adding in our potato mixture and just mixing with our hands. Now once our onions have gone from looking like this, to this, to this, it's time to move on to our next step. So we're going to add a quarter cup of maple syrup and 2 tablespoons of balsamic dressing into them. And then a bit of black pepper. And then just let caramelize a little bit more until they reduce a bit more and get darker. So once our pork is up to temperature, we're going to remove it from the grill and let it sit on a cutting board for at least 20 minutes before slicing into. Now, since this is a sandwich, we're going to need mayo, but since it's a breakfast sandwich, we're going to be substituting that for an old-fashioned hollandaise. That's going to start by juicing a lemon. Next, to a large mixing bowl, we're going to be adding 2 egg yolks. Followed by a tablespoon of our lemon juice and 2 tablespoons of water. And we're just going to whisk that until homogeneous. Then over a pot of barely simmering water that's not touching the bottom of the bowl, we're going to whisk and cook slightly until the egg yolks are just barely cooked. Then slowly adding in 3/4 of a cup of butter and emulsifying into our egg yolks. Now onto our latkes. So to a pan, With hot oil, we're going to be adding small balls of our batter and flattening until pancake shapes have formed. We're just going to flip those once golden brown. And I have to say, these are roads ahead of any hash brown. In a cuisine filled with fish hot dogs and bland cracker ball soup, these are something that's actually worth making. Now for the bread of our sandwiches, we're going to be using English muffins. We're just going to fork those open a little bit and gently butter and add to a pan over medium heat. Cook until golden browned and flip, and remember to cook both sides. This seems as good a time as any to slice our pork open, so we're just going to cut that into thin slices. Ooh, would you look at that, smoky. Now onto sandwich assembly. To our English muffins, we're going to be adding a generous amount of hollandaise to each side of the bread and top with some black pepper. Then 1, 2, 3 slices of female bacon. Now we're going to be frying an egg over medium. You're still going to allow us to eat our sandwich with our hands, but not overcook the yolk and make it taste gross. We're just going to season our egg with some salt and pepper and flip. Then add a generous amount of the cheese of your choice. I just used some marble. Then reduce the heat and cover with the lid until the cheese is melted. Once the cheese looks like this, it's time for sandwich assembly. So we're just going to top that, top our female bacon, top that with some of our onion jam, and place the second half of our English muffin atop that. Don't forget to serve 2 potato latkes. And there you have it, the best breakfast sandwich I've ever had. And I have to tell you, this thing holds up to its name. I've never had a breakfast sandwich even come a bit close to this one. So thanks for watching.